my opinion, for the benefit of the children. You know, if you partner with people in this city for the welfare of these young people, I'm 100% certain the right mission, the right goals, everything is gonna fall in place.
Yeah.
You know, and even your long term, it might not be as directly gonna happen as you see fit in the long term. It's not gonna be directly going straight to that, but you know, I mean, you're preparing people to have an influence on the lives of young people. And I know that the talented tenth is a very true principle, and it hasn't been actually carried out.
Why you know it's a virtuous principle? Tell me,
Well,
explain that to me.
I believe that it's going to take some of the most intelligent, some of the most talented individuals to help to change the direction of our people, young people included, the elderly, everybody. See, we as a people, we are lost.
So how can you identify the talented 10? I'm asking you that question.
Well, the way to identify it is once you get started, you're gonna have them in classrooms, and you're gonna be talking. You know, how can we impact the lives of these young people? I want to see these young people become positive, productive individuals that are capable of anything they set their hearts and minds to.
Okay.
You know, and once you start, you know, sharpening iron with other brothers and the other females that also they're gonna give input. You know, you're gonna talk about mentorship. You're gonna talk about, you know, all the different aspects of what you plan, the different principles. You know, the curriculum. You know, and that's just a rule of thumb. You know, it's just a guide. Because you might have one of them brothers or sisters that might talk about that topic, but have something else that they might want to share. You know what I'm saying? Along
Okay.
similar lines.
Okay, let's look at this. Is the talented 10th is a term that designated a leadership class of African Americans in the early 20th century. The term was created by Northern philanthropists, then publicized by W.E.B. Du Bois
Right.
in an influential essay of the same name, which he published in September 1903. It appeared in The Negro Problem, a collection of essays written by leading African Americans. Now, let's unpack that. This is 1903. That's 50 years removed from the Emancipation Proclamation.
True.
Okay?
1860s, yeah.
1865, so you add 50 years to that, you got about
1903, 1905, right?
Something like that,
Yeah.
right? 1915. So we talking about, you're only talking about a couple of generations up from slavery. All right?
True.
Now, with all due respect to those people, if you take an elephant, that's a baby elephant, and you tie a shoestring around his leg, and you put that chain or that string and tie his feet to a fence. When the elephant get to be a humongous elephant, the elephant will still stay by that fence.
Right, because at first you have the chain there, and I understand.
My point is, these people still have chains.
Yeah, it's their
They still have the chain of slavery.
Their mental. Yeah.
Right. So, of course they are intelligent, but their intelligence is there to serve white people. Don't get me wrong. Don't say we can't use them now, because that's not what I'm saying, good brother. You understand what I'm saying? Because we can. We can leverage their intelligence. But at the end of the day, they are not the leaders. They are only going to lead the people back into slavery. And that's what they've been doing. And that's why our young people are suffering from mental health crisis. Because that group of people have lost their way.
I think they focus more so on themselves and their families and making them more affluent. Because that's what's happening. I'm aware of a lot of people. Of course, you got guys like Mr. Vennon. They live very comfortably, successfully. But he wants to play a part. He's willing to.
Yes.
But
of course he is.
And,
But he's Mr. Vennings. He has more intelligence in his little finger than these people you talking about.
He definitely does.
And that's not even.
That's true. More practical knowledge.
I know. I'm talking about intelligence. This is a man with a very high IQ.
Yeah, he does. Mr. Vennon, in terms of talent in regards to building and conceptualizing things.
Right.
Mr. Venning is one of the sharpest people.
That you going? I know.
Yeah,
I know for a fact.
Because he sees vision when most people see a house with just walls. He sees entirely way past that.
Of course he does. So he thinks like an engineer.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I prefer to align myself with people like that. The educated class of people, they are going to lead our people back into slavery. I don't mind working with them.
You think
See,
slavery
they make
can happen again?
What you mean gonna happen again?
You think it can?
I don't know. Chattel slavery is not gonna happen again.
Right.
Because there are people like me that will kill and die. I mean, for real.
Yeah.
We're not those kinds of people because we have the knowledge now. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
Because we have the knowledge now, we understand what we're going to have to do. And that is, if we desire to remain dependent upon the same man that oppressed us, that demonized us, that stripped us of everything that we once possessed, certainly that will show and prove that our desire is to remain in a form of mental slavery, regardless of our educational prowess, regardless of our financial prowess, regardless of our social status, regardless of any of that. You're just a social slave, mentally. So I agree with you, honestly I do, because if I didn't, I'd tell you, that those people can be leveraged, but they cannot take leadership. Remember what I said to you last year, I'd rather die with this concept than to give it to those people because I know that it's going to be at the end of us. And those people, look brother, I know people that work for the city of Richmond that's in that talented 10th, so-called talented 10th. I know them personally, I went to school with some of them. And while I'm cutting class and acting a fool and wanting to go play basketball, man, they was getting it in them classrooms. And now they are there in positions of leadership in the white man's civilization. Got some of their telephone numbers in my telephone right now.
But
Let me finish my point if you don't mind.
Okay.
And when I run into them, I say, oh, I'm still waiting on your call. I know why they're not going to call me, because they know what I'm about. But I see them off record, and they're like, you know you're right. And I say, oh, yeah, I know I'm right.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is that they have been following a process of slavery for all of their lives. And this process of slavery has been handed down to them from their parents and from their grandparents and their great-grandparents and so on and so forth. So this is nothing but an institution of dependency that we have to remove ourselves.
So they've been conditioned.
They are conditioned. And after they have been following this process for hundreds of years now. You understand what I'm saying? It's going on almost 200 years since 1865.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? So it'd be 200 years in 2065. This is 2020, in another 45 years.
Over around 150 years.
150 years, right. So when you look at it from that perspective, dear brother, they have lost their way because they have been initiated into the system of dependency. And they have been put before the people as leaders of black people, which they have led black people back into a more slavery than our people were in chattel slavery, which is mental slavery. That group of people, though they have educational prowess, they have financial oomph, but they're not going to give that up because their education and their wealth is tied to the man that is keeping another segment of our population oppressed and depressed and subjected to all forms of wickedness and evil. And our children, they grow up designed to be like these people, but they don't have the intellectual prowess or the foresight. They don't have the ability to go out and accomplish these things. So what they do is they turn on one another. They fight one another. Our young people are killing each other. They'll get strung out on dope. They get pregnant because they are showing off. Because they are designing things of this world. This has nothing to do with religion. This has something to do with our survival. Our religion is survival, and then growth, prosperity, to build a world of our own. That's our religion. Every people that's worth anything have their own, with the exception of us. We are the only people on the whole planet that are subjected to another people in the way that we are functioning. And it is no need looking at those people to lead us out of it because they don't have the right knowledge.
Okay, well, what's different between Asians in America, Latinos in America, all the other races of people, because America is nothing but a melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Native Americans. All of these individuals all have their societal or social issues or whatever. They all have their particular problems within themselves, but it's all about trying to figure out solutions, you know what I'm saying, to these particular issues. Don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
I respect.
Damn good question, man.
I respect what you're saying in regards to, what Elijah Muhammad, his belief was that we needed a land of our own. The Native Americans have done that. They have reservations. I don't know how successful they are. I've never really researched that. But I believe that we need to start somewhere. Improvement, I know your overall goal is to eventually get to a point where we do have our own land, our own society and all that. But, once, iron starts sharpening iron and people start working together toward positive purposes, I think things get better. Even though I know what your end result is, you know what I'm saying? I think if you're focused on just improvement at this point, and seeing people, young people especially, improve their lives and lifestyles, because it's a whole lot of young people that's dying, man, in these neighborhoods. I'm serious.
So, let me ask you a
12,
question.
13, 14, 15-year-olds getting shot and killed on a regular basis because of the dysfunctional mentalities that are prevalent in these communities.
Yeah.
And if people don't start stepping in and trying to teach and help these young people to see things from a different perspective, they're going to continue to die. That's why.
Let me ask you a question. The difference between us and those other groups is those people know who they are. You don't see the Asian marching, talking about who's going to be the president. You don't see them doing that. Those people, why? You don't see the Latino community doing any of that. None of it. Why? They come here.
Too.
I think. No, brother, we are the most backwards, unintelligent people on the face of the earth. As we sit right now, we have enough money to build a small country based on our money that's in our community, we'll probably be ranked about the 9th richest country in the whole world.
That's true. You're probably right.
What I understand about separation, brother, is not going to happen in my lifetime. I will be foolish. So let me ask you a question. You perform power washing. So someone asked me, Brother Jasir, do you know anyone who does power washing on their home? She has a problem. She needs a home power wash. I know you do power washing. I would be a darn fool if I said, no, I don't know nobody. I recognize that Daniel Winfrey power washes home. So why should I tell her, no, I don't have a solution to your problem, when I do? What I'm trying to tell you, good brother, you are sitting in front of a man that understands the problem. So it's no need keep talking about what we need to do when I'm here to do it. As if no one can do it. Because that would be a lie. I know exactly what I'm doing, even though I don't know everything that needs to be done. But I know enough to get us started. And that's the first issue. I've already been in the community teaching these children.
I know you have.
For a long time, for 30 years, at least.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? So, what we're looking at now is a consequence of rejecting the truth about what we should be doing. So, we are up against a very complex and complicated dynamic right now. Because those people who had the knowledge, wisdom, and education and the talent to help free us, they didn't do it. Because they desired the crumbs from the rich man. See, we are a Lazarus people. Lazarus. Prodigal son is what they refer to us. And because we refuse to get up from the rich man's gate, then we have to suffer.
But there were plenty that did choose to. There were opportunities. You remember the Back to Africa movement that was initially started by Marcus.
I understand that, yeah.
And you know, Monrovia is the capital of Liberia, which was formed by freed slaves. I mean, I'm not certain of the numbers that actually went back to Africa, but you know, I mean, it's not foreign, you know, that mentality. Because if you read the history of people like Abraham Lincoln, he didn't believe that we as black people could ever thrive in this society. A lot of them thought that we were intellectually incapable of being on the same level, you know, as a quote-unquote white man, you know. That was a lot of the beliefs during that time period, that we were incapable of being able to function, you know, in high reasoning type scenarios and predicaments. But, you know, I mean, a lot of that, all that stuff was untrue, you know, but...
of course it was untrue.
Yeah, but I mean... Because
if it was untrue, then why go over there and bring us over here?
Well...
In the first place.
Yeah.
They didn't bring, look, brother, they didn't bring peasants.
That's right.
They brought in intelligent people.
Yeah.
They highly intelligent people.
But those also people realized that we were enslaved when we were in Africa.
Listen.
The ones that were actually sent over here were the individuals that were enslaved in Ghana, in Mali, in Shanghai, in all those particular areas. We were enslaved, and they sent those slaves, and you know, for alcohol, for guns. We were sold for those particular things. That's why they felt that we were their property.
So why in the hell I'm going back and deal with some goddamn Africans? Why the fuck I'm going to trust them? See, now I'm getting a little angry. Because you just answered the same question. That's why none of that shit worked. Well, so when we put you brought Elijah Muhammad into the fray, so I'm going to add it. Because I wasn't even going to mention Elijah Muhammad. I didn't mention nothing about it. But
Well,
since you brought him into
I
the
respect
fray,
his doctrine.
no. I don't want you to respect it. You do what you want to do with it.
I do respect it.
Respecting it and adhering to it are two different things. This is a lifestyle. This. I understand you respect it. I appreciate that. Okay. But that's not necessary. It's not a doctrine. Separation. But he brought the total solution to the problem. If our ancestors were deceived by the slave master, by John Hawkins, by the Arabs, and by the Africans,
That's right.
why the hell are you going to trust them again today? Because those people, even though they were intelligent, but they could not, that intelligence, whatever our ancestors believed in, wasn't sufficient enough to keep them from being deceived. And our people, you're right, they were already practicing certain forms of evil and treachery against one another prior to John Hawkins getting over there.
That's right. Yeah, they had.
However,
I've seen some of the slave quarters where, of course, that slavery system was entirely different than the American slave system.
That's why we had to have this man on the planet for the last 6,000 years to show us what was already in us. So why? So it don't need going back to Africa to do what? You gonna trust those people again? See, we are the only people that thinks like that. Just think about what you just said. You brought up the fact that our people had us in slavery in Africa. So why go back and trust them? Those same some bitches again.
Well, yeah, I can respect what you're saying, but I mean,
there's no but.
All races, all people have had issues with conquering one another.
Within the last 6,000 years.
Slavery.
Within the last 6,000 years.
I mean, all of them.
And that's since the white man been on the planet.
Yeah. I mean,
he's been the source of that.
Yellow man, red man. All people have.
That's within the last 6,000 years. None of that took place prior to 6,000 years ago, brother. See, I don't want you to respect Elijah Muhammad's doctrine, because your respect of his doctrine doesn't give you insight to what it is he taught. Just give you some respect.
And it does. Because I have a lot of insight, but see, the whole
How?
point is because I do.
How?
I understand.
You don't.
Okay, put it this way: if we both look at an illness, and say we look at a person that suffers from diabetes, we both look at their struggle with that particular issue and illness, and we both have our opinion on that. It's, neither one of us might be doctors or anything, but we could look at the same thing, but we might draw different conclusions. That's the state and status that I see for black people, where we see, all the different dysfunction.
Where you get that from?
Well, it's me.
Okay, and where you get your mind from, brother? What's your name?
Daniel.
What's your last name?
Winfrey.
You got it from the goddamn white man then, because you got a white man's name. So your mind came from the white man.
Well, no.
Yeah, it did.
I think I've been able to draw my own conclusion.
Where you get that from? You got that from the white man, from your white man's education and your white man's upbringing.
The name, but not my ability to draw conclusions.
Listen. This is no disrespect to you, because if I didn't think you were intelligent, I wouldn't be sitting here wasting this time talking to you. But I have to give you, because since you brought it into the conversation, I have to give it to you this way. Everything that you think you know, you got it from the white man. And that's hard to accept.
But I disagree with that.
Of course you're going to disagree.
Because
that's why you are holding the position that you're holding. Because you got that from him. It's hard, brother, for us to let it go because of what we feel about ourselves.
The white man, in my opinion, does not control. Don't get me wrong. And the Bible, and of course, I know how you feel about that, in regards to, it says the first shall be last. We all know that the first grand civilization was in Egypt. We know.
How you know?
Well,
How you know?
based off the scrolls and all the information from the past,
Okay.
from Africa,
Uh-huh.
Timbuktu and all
Uh-huh.
the other areas that where the gold and all this stuff was so widespread. And,
Uh-huh.
I mean, the whole point is, what I'm trying to stress is, we can get it together.
Of course we can, but we got to have the right knowledge, and we can't go back to a knowledge that has already failed us.
We have to accept personal responsibility in regards to do what we need to do to improve ourselves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I mean,
but that has nothing to do with the collective, because you said that when a person improves themselves, they lose their way.
I think.
That's the problem that we have.
I think. Don't get me wrong. I think white people, per se, 150, 60, 70 years ago, and also, don't get me wrong. I think years ago, I think it was them actually, using racism and all other types of prejudice to pretty much hinder the lives and the mentalities of black people.
Man, you ought to be glad I got a lot of respect and love for you, because if not, I'll get up and walk out this damn place. Because you don't want to see it.
I just don't think that today, with things being the way that they are.
What I just said about the elephant.
Yeah, you're right. I understand that, but I mean.
So he don't have to go out and do devilishment and shooting and killing and hanging black people like he did 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. He ain't got to do that. He already got a system in place to get a white, that the black man can sit there and say, okay, whatever you say. He don't have to go out and aggressively do that anymore.
Well, what hinders black people from becoming more and more productive and helping their young?
Black people are productive. They're productive in the white man civilization. What are you talking about?
Well, it doesn't. I mean.
So you talking about, how about being productive in building our own?
I mean, why is it considered the white man civilization?
Because it's his.
When it can be any people. Well, so it can't be the Japanese American civilization.
Where are you now?
It can't be
Where are you now?
I mean,
where are you now?
In Native American land.
Where are you now?
In America.
Okay then. So this is his civilization.
I believe. So you're trying to say that
it's his civilization. Where are you? You are in America. I just did a wedding ceremony here, Praise be to Allah Saturday, and I had to go down to the city hall to get paperwork that will authorize me to officiate marriages in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Okay? So when I gave the couple their certificate of marriage, you know what I put on it? Nation of Islam. I'm still going to get them another certificate that says from the Commonwealth of Virginia. See, nobody's holding us back from building our own. I'm not saying white folks holding us back. They don't hold me back. Well, so let me get to the point. I'm not hindered.
Other like-minded
I'm not hindered.
The nation. Well, I'm just saying.
I'm not hindered.
Why haven't people developed? Went and bought land maybe on some island.
Because they don't believe it. We don't need to go buy no land on no island. We can buy land right here.
In America?
Right here in America. What are you talking about? We don't have to go nowhere. But if we want to go there, we can. But see, land is not just to grow food, apples, oranges. Land is growing new people. We have to be renewed in the mind and have a reasonable service.
I mean, I've always wondered why the nation hasn't actually.
Let's start with the individuals in the nation, because they don't believe it. But you're talking to an exception, brother.
Well, because I know they have the finances and the money, because it's a very prosperous organization.
How you know?
I know that.
How you know? Tell me how you know.
Well, based off my research.
Okay, well,
you know what I mean?
But you really don't know.
All the different mosques that they've built and all the people that contribute to the mosque. I mean, if they had a vision for the future to make Elijah Muhammad's vision come true, they could take a little land, a little island somewhere, and say, hey, let's go over there.
Dang. Who do you think you're talking to? I'm giving you Elijah Muhammad's program right there. You rejecting it? You keep talking about some what? Again,
I'm not see.
I'm saying to you. I'm saying
that might
to you.
not be my particular.
Okay,
belief,
all right
but
then.
I would respect the fact.
Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is that you're talking about a man that's sitting right in front of you right now with Elijah Muhammad's program.
That's true.
So you don't have to worry about what's your research. You ain't got to worry. What you worry about research for? When I'm sitting right here in front of you.
Well, see what I'm saying. It's a whole lot of people.
If somebody called me and said, "Hey Jay, you know anyone can power wash houses?" I said, "Yeah, I will give you his number." Haven't I done that?
Yeah, you have.
You know what? I don't have to research. I don't have to look in the yellow pages or the phone book. I already know somebody. You. That's our problem. We don't want to recognize each other. I'm talking about some damn God in the sky or some way out esoterical research. What about you? Why can't it be you? Why can't it be Mr. Finnan? Why can't it be me?
Well, the whole point is it can be.
No, it is.
Right? But I mean.
But we have to accept it, and we're not going to accept it from one another if we don't recognize one another.
I agree. But see, to improve our people, I understand what your long-term goal is.
You don't.
I do. I know what your long-term goal is.
No, you do not. You have no idea.
Yes, I do.
You do not.
It would be the
I put my life on it that you don't.
It would be for us to
How?
eventually have our own land.
Yeah, but you don't understand.
Our own government.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's your overall long-term goal.
Why you don't support it? Why you don't contribute to it?
Well, because honestly, I believe that there are going to be some people that choose to go.
I'm not asking you why you don't
Me
contribute.
personally, I believe that the principles and the guidelines of democracy, I think things have changed to a point where we as a people can thrive here.
Okay.
And things are going to get to a point. Let me see.
Go ahead, get your phone.
Hello? Yes.
This is Charles.
Yes, sir. Charles? Huh? Okay. Yeah, what's up, Mr. Gorman?